Hey, how's it going? And today we are going to be exploring return call functions for the sequence device. I know that sounds a lot more complicated than it is. This is something that was frustrating me to no end, and that's why I wanted to make a quick little video about it. Is I'm clear now on how to do call functions, but I wasn't clear on how do we get information back when we call a function if we want the return values from a call function. So that's what this is about anyway. And we're going to be using the cinematic sequence device because that's what we use to trigger level sequences, and level sequences have so much application across the game, it's not even funny. You can use them for cutscenes and animation and all different kinds of things. And they allow you actually access to other variables inside of the verse code. So it's that whole pathway of the cinematic sequence device and level sequences is really important. We do need a cinematic sequence device for this. I'm not going to hook it up to a level sequence though. I'm just going to bring it into the scene. So there it is right there. And normally I would hook it to a level sequence, but I just want to show you something in the scene. To show you that we can access these values, it says play rate right there. And I'm just going to change that to something like 7.7, just some unusual value. So you can verify that we're actually in contact with it. Now, once we're going to do is we're going to go into the content level here, and we're going to go to the Verse Explorer. We're going to left click, right click, and add a new verse project. I'll just leave it called Hello World and go ahead and save selected. And that just takes a minute. And then we'll double click in here to get to the code. Usually I copy and paste the code, but there's so little code here that I'm just going to type it in. So we're going to go ahead and delete these lines of code. And remember, no tabbing. 4 spaces is how we indent. So the first thing we want to do is actually I want to come up here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to make that connection, establish a link object reference to that cinematic sequence device. And I'm just going to call it my device, which is the reference name. And then we're going to go ahead and we have to type it in exactly. So it's called cinematic underscore sequence underscore device equals the same thing. Then here I can hit tab actually, and then just the curly brackets. And then one thing I forgot, enter down, is I need to put an at editable, and this is what makes it instance editable in the scene. So now we have connection to this thing, and if we hold control and shit, why can't I hold control? I'm trying to get into the device, and let me just throw in a I think I can just throw in a block here to just get rid of the red squigglies. No, will it let me in? Yeah, now it will. Okay. I guess it won't let me go up there squigglies. So if we come into the cinematic sequence device, I guess technically speaking, because these are functions within the class, we're supposed to call them methods, but sometimes I think that's confusing. But if it's a function inside of a class, according to Verse, we're supposed to call it a method. So there's all these methods inside of here, and some of them don't require any agents, some do, some don't. Some can just be triggered. So these are the easy ones to do, like play, stop, pause. They're very easy to control from within Verse. And then there's this one here that I was looking at. I was interested in this idea of getting values from the cinematic sequence device. I was interested in what values we could pull out of there. And here's one called get play rate, and that's the one I just said, and it's a float. So the question is, how do we get the value out of here? What's the code look like to get this value that's going to return to us that says returns the playback rate of the sequence? Well, how do we get that value? So anyway, that was what started this whole thing. So I'm just going to get rid of that now. And well, we can create a variable and go var, and we can just call it rate value here like that. And we can go equals as in is assigned to the value of, and I can go my device to reference the cinematic sequence device, period, and then I get I think it's called get play rate. It's right here. And then we put that like that. And we're going to get an error because it has to be defined as a colon float, because it is a float. So we define it just like a regular variable, but then we can use this. So when this calls it, it's going to just give us that value right there. So then what we can do is just go print and apostrophes, quotes right there. The rate value is supposed to be, and curly brackets again, and I should just be able to type in rate value. Yep, and that's all we got to do. So I realize this is just super basic, but it was driving me crazy of, well, how do we get these return function values from these methods that are in the class? So that's how we do it. So anyway, what I can do now is I'm just going to go into Unreal Editor. I'm going to build my code. Then I'm going to come in here, drag this into the scene. Then we're going to link it up there. And this is going to be very anticlimactic, but we'll see if the print string comes back showing a value of 7.7. So I'll be back in just a minute once this has finished loading up. Okay, we're back, and let's see if this works. It's not that exciting to see. All we should see is a print string in the corner, and let's see if that's what we see. Yep, the rate value is supposed to be 7.7. That's correct. So yeah, you can see that it's grabbing the value from the cinematic sequence device. So that's all I had for today. I hope you found it helpful. Take care, have a great day, and I will talk to you next time.